Welcome to Empirical Peapod. I'm your host, Tim Dave. Thank you so much for continuing this journey with me, where I get to sit and talk to all my favorite people. You guys remember the drill. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever is going on out there. Let's get into today's episode. All right. Are you ready? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Have you listened to the show ever?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I listened to Sam's episode. I listened to Amy's husband.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did he sound handsome when you were listening to it?
Like a Disney prince, kind of.
Like,
but like
yeah.
adventure Disney prince, a
It's
little
like
bit.
an annoyingly attractive man.
He's kind of like a perfect human being, it feels like.
He makes me mad, yeah.
Yeah.
And I make fun of him for not wearing a shirt. So now every time he takes a picture without a shirt on, he sends it to me.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, you're a real dick, pal.
My sister's boyfriend doesn't wear sleeves, and it's like a joke.
Yeah, that I can get behind, though. I don't like wearing sleeves either, but I have furry shoulders, so I don't want to gross people out.
He does not.
That's good. We're here with Sasha Loomis.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is awesome. I'm excited. I appreciate you finding the time, and I'm excited to catch you in town, because that is a rare occurrence.
That's true. Big time.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's just jump in and start from the beginning, and we'll hit these points as why you've been gone as we go. Did you start your life in Oswego?
No, I was born in LaGrange. I was born in LaGrange, lived in Lyons, moved to Brookfield. Parents divorced, 11-ish. Moved here, went to Thompson, 7th and 8th.
Really?
And then, yeah. So, coming from where I was from, I would have gone to, school would have been different. It would have been 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I was, partially in junior high, and then I had to come to a brand new junior high and be at the bottom again. You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Well, that was how it was, but...
Yeah, I guess I'll research that on my own.
No, I'm just saying, Thompson only had 7th and 8th grade.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Didn't it?
I have no idea. I went to Trauber, so...
Did Trauber have 6th, 7th, and 8th?
It did. I thought Thompson was the same.
Maybe that was the opposite. I went to a school that went up to 6th, and then I had to come in the middle as a 7th grader. That's what it was.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, because, you ended up in Boulder Hill.
Yeah, on Sherwick.
I feel like that neighborhood, though, was a lot of cool people out there.
Heck yeah, and it was right off where they built the path that ended up with skate park and Paradise and stuff. Paradise was behind Thompson, and then the skate park ended up over there. So it was kind of.
I've been out there for so long, and I don't think I've ever seen a skate park.
That was years ago.
Is it gone now?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that's embarrassing for me.
They spent a lot of money on that. It was like a slow progression. You remember when they started making the paths and stuff? That thing just turned into a whole thing, and then they made the skate park, and then I think they might have revamped it, but I'm not 100% sure.
You moved around a few times before you ended up in Oswego.
No, well, Lyons as a small child, but then Brookfield from 2 to 11.
Yeah, do you remember what it's like to kind of be pulled out of that, or were you just whatever, get me out of here?
I think I remember specifically being nervous and excited. I am, to this day, very much like that. I love change, but it also terrifies me. So I was
Really?
looking forward to the first day of school. I can even tell you the outfit that I spent all summer crafting for 7th grade.
Will you tell us?
Yeah, it was, I accidentally washed something purple in a pair of white jeans, and it turned these jeans lilac. So I was like, well, I got to do something. So I frayed the edge, and then I made a tie-dye shirt to match it, and that was going to be my outfit for the first day.
So you're 12, 13.
Yeah.
And you were making your own outfits?
Well, I mean, not all the time. I'm randomly crafty. I go through craft phases.
Yeah.
Right now my coffee table is watercoloring.
Do you feel just inspired randomly?
Correct.
And you're like, all right, I'll do this.
Let's hyperfixate and then move on.
Hyperfixate. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, did you? I feel like it makes sense to be excited and nervous at the same time. Did you adapt well then going into Thompson? Because they, for the most part, presumably just spent 6th grade together. You're kind of coming in. You coming in the middle of 7th grade?
You know how? No, like literally, I moved summer between.
Okay.
And Oswego, most of these people went together to Long Beach, Eastview, and stuff. From my brother being 4 years younger than me, he came in at like 3rd grade, so he like really grew up with them in elementary. And then my sister came in. She was 7 years younger than me, so she would have been 4. She wasn't even in school yet, so they grew up in Oswego's. Well, I forgot what the question was. Do you remember?
Yes, but this is going to be dangerous for both of us. We're going to get lost a lot. People will be like, I don't know what they're talking about. They're just making noise. Well, now that I've talked, I'm an asshole.
We're lost.
No, but the transition kind of coming in the middle.
Oh, I'm a performer. If you give me enough time, I'll have anxiety about anything. But if I just jump in, I'm going to perform and it's going to be fine. And so, of course, there's like bumps and bruises because it's junior high.
Right.
But also, I'm like, I come in and I'm probably acting like I'm cool and I moved it from like closer to the city and you guys are like cornfields.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? So.
We were, especially back then, country bumpkins.
For sure. Like there was just McDonald's and Jewel. Douglas didn't even go through to 34.
Yeah.
I remember like the first night, like going there and there was like Hardee's chicken in the microwave waiting at this house that I had never been to before. And it was like nighttime and yeah. And then I would get lost in that neighborhood so much.
Yeah. The neighborhood's like a maze.
Boulder Hill. And it went Sherwick, Sedgwick.
Yeah.
And then circled around and we would try to get to the Civic Center and like, you know.
So I think you're a year older than me in school.
I should have graduated in 99, but I graduated 2000.
Oh, so you might actually be 2 years older than me in real life. But because I think, did you move then in 94?
No, if I would have been 11, it would have been 92 because I was born in 81.
Because I came in 6th grade, and if you came in 7th grade, maybe you are 2 years older than me.
What year did you move?
94. Yeah.
Oh, so 2 years after me.
Yeah.
So I would have been a freshman.
I would, yeah.
And you were in 6th grade when I was a freshman?
I don't know. I don't feel like that can be true.
But I'm also older where my birthday fell.
Yeah.
I ended up being one of the older kids because of January. The cutoff was different.
Are you in Jay's class?
I feel like I'm a year above Jay.
Yeah,
Am I?
It's possible. It doesn't matter for real.
I feel like he was a junior.
That could be it. I'm just trying to think. I remember meeting you my first day of high school.
Really?
Yes. Because I'm curious if you are that much older than us, because I met you and Jess the exact same second.
Really?
Yes. I remember this vividly because to this day, I still don't understand what the hell. You guys were insane. I was sitting alone at the caf, at one of the tables before school, and you guys came up to me, and I can't remember which one of you, but you introduced your name as Bob, and you guys were so weird. Which I love, actually. But it's something that's always stayed with me for forever.
I love that.
And because I'm curious then if you're 2 years older than us, how you even know her.
Jess? How did I end up knowing Jess? I became friends with Megan Vickery, who lived on that side of town, and I'm thinking some way just neighborhood-wise, because Jess lived on like one of the last streets before 7-Eleven. Megan Vickery lived like closer to Circle Drive. I don't know. I'll have to ask her today when I go there.
Well, good.
Like, Jessica, how do we know each other? Weird.
That is weird. I think Jess lived on the same street as Kim Smith.
Yeah, like if Jess lived here, Kim Smith was down here.
Down the street, yeah.
Man, I spent just as much time, if not more, on that side of town, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
How the hell did I meet Jessica?
And it had to have been just around the neighborhood.
High school?
I mean, that happened on the first day of school. I hope you guys just met that morning.
Wouldn't that be even better? I doubt it.
That'd be incredible.
I remember going into a school year knowing her.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to know that. What was high school then like for you? Because now you've kind of established, you made some friends in Thompson. Now everybody's kind of coming together in high school.
I think I was in high school like I am now, where I felt like I was friends with everybody, but then outside I wasn't like, I didn't do a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I did have my core friends, Julie, Megan, and Jessica, and we fucking partied. And my mom was never home, so I mean, my house was like stupid. The kind of shit we would do there. Like,
do you remember partying at a young age like that?
I mean, the first time I ever got drunk, I was like 8 because my dad let me get drunk on wine coolers at a block party in my old town.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. I was like smoking pot and cigarettes probably at 13.
Wow.
I'm a hooligan. But I'm like
that.
organized chaos. Like I was always very respectful. Like you don't get in trouble at school. And like you should do your work and you need to do your like chores and be like responsible. But also, let's go hard, you know?
Yeah, but like not for nothing, at least that's some semblance of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, not fucking up at school.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stay fucked up outside.
It was wild, but there was no parent. I was the parent, so.
You say your parents were divorced?
Yeah, my parents were divorced.
Your mom had to work, right?
Yeah, she was working or gambling.
Right.
It was pretty bad, actually. It got really bad for a minute there, but...
Yeah, so do you feel like you basically raised yourself?
And my little brother and sister. We were like a triangle, the three of us.
Because it sounds like there's decent age gaps. I mean, 4 years isn't that big of one.
4, and then from JD to Tawny,
is there 4 of you?
85 to 3. Yeah, there's technically 5 of us, but one's dead.
That's unfortunate.
She died a couple months old. She had Down syndrome.
Oh.
Dude, our life was so messed up. It's probably for the best that she died. She had to go on to like another life, whatever you believe in. I believe in that kind of bullshit.
Another life?
Yeah, I believe in just repeating things until there's like an ultimate. And if I'm wrong...
Ooh, an ultimate?
Yeah.
What do you...
I feel like everybody ends up at the same place, but everybody is going to be a piece of shit in some lives. Everybody is going to be phenomenal in some lives.
Yeah.
Mediocre, special, you know, like it takes a million lives to like perfect this, what I call soul journey. And I don't even care if that's magical and stupid, because when I die, if I'm wrong, I won't even know.
Right, that's true. Like,
I'm just going to keep going with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's
what I like.
It's a very
karmic Western or Eastern philosophy.
100 million percent.
Where each life is kind of trying to make up for the last one.
And not even, I don't know if it's make up for it. It's mold the person into a level of like pure humanity of goodness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not treated like shit in this last lifetime because I was an asshole in that lifetime. Yeah. I'm going to be given a circumstance in this entire lifetime that's going to prove to me the way I thought before was bullshit, and I'm going to open my mind. I'm going to be a better version, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Do you think that we have the capacity, like, as these versions of ourselves, to kind of, not police that, but understand that what makes us better, what makes us bad? Like, can we kind of make those judgments, do you think, from where we stand in it
like
all?
morality-wise?
Yeah.
I mean...
Like, some things feel like common sense.
I would say morality feels inherent, but I always am like, not everybody even agrees on everything. There's no way you'll ever... So I'm just like I don't need anybody to agree with me. I don't need to agree with anybody. I just want to do the, like, no harm shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the no harm philosophy is...
Yeah, like, do no harm, but take no shit.
Right.
That's kind of like how I am.
You seem like somebody that would punch somebody in the throat.
Everybody thinks that, but I really... I mean, I would...
Is that just an exterior?
I think I'm just naturally aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, it's similar to my sister who will punch you in the throat.
Yeah, I mean, I
but
would
she's
if
kind
I
of
had
like,
to.
she seems outwardly,
Yeah.
she's not really, like, you know, she's a sweetheart and stuff like that, but it just seems that way.
Yeah.
If you catch her on the wrong day, it might be a different story.
I'm more likely to hurt your feelings than I am to...
Truth
like,
bombs, eh?
Yeah. I'm like, the scars on the inside last longer.
Yeah, those hurt way more, too.
Yeah, so...
I think that actually makes a lot of sense, and I don't disagree. I've been lucky enough to do some kind of internal work and kind of have some of my past lives kind of looked at or talked about.
See, that's cool.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Some
what
of it's
was
happened
that?
here. Some of it's happened here.
Really?
Yeah, I work actually with Dr. Melissa, whose office this is, and we do this SOP stuff where it gets really deep into energy work, and some of like the last few sessions have been like a lot of weird stuff going on like around my legs and feet.
Gotcha.
And we've been coming to the conclusion and realizing that in a past life I was like a dancer. And like it's interesting to me. This is for us. Nobody's gonna give a shit about this, but it's so fascinating because, like in this particular version of my life that I'm living,
Yeah.
I have an issue with like sugar and overeating and stuff like that. I've always been a bigger guy, and certain things will drive that and make it worse. And then we kind of learned that in my last life, I was a dancer who was probably bulimic and had to keep a very small waist. And I'm like, oh, you can kind of see how it's going from one end to the other.
Absolutely.
To me, I find that fascinating, and it makes sense to me.
100%.
And it's the same thing. Like, if you called me crazy, I'm not going to argue with you, but I don't have shit to prove to you.
100%. Why does it matter that I believe this? You know what I'm saying? Plus, I think there's irrefutable evidence. Like, there's like children who have said things that like could not possibly have said or known or whatever. And then I don't know, just my own experiences with like the spiritual world and ghosts and stuff like that. You cannot possibly tell me that energy doesn't just continue. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel too. Is like energy is energy, and it keeps going for forever. It might take some sort of different form as far as our comprehension.
Yeah.
But the energy of it's going somewhere.
Infinite, like it doesn't stop. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree completely.
Oh, that's so cool that you did like a regression thing.
It was very interesting.
Did you have to get like hypnotized?
No, the way it works is you just lay down. I close my eyes, and it's all energy work that she's doing. I've had other experiences too. Actually, down the street on 3rd Street here is an amazing crystal shop, and it used to be owned by a lady named Attila, and she's written multiple books about entities and just otherworldly beings and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that. And when I first met her, she was telling me about angels that are attached to me, and which threw me off at first because I'm not a religious person. But once I started thinking about it not as a religious way, it made a lot more sense to me as just spiritual guides. And she said that she saw past lives of like being like on a battlefield, like as a Viking, and I'm like, that's crazy. And those are all like unprompted too. Like I feel like people are like, oh, they're trying to get you to buy something, or they're like, I didn't sign up for anything.
Yeah.
And they just came to me and said these things, and neither of us is getting anything out of it.
Right.
Other than like, to me, it just makes sense, and I enjoy it. I find it so interesting.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. That sounds so. My favorite book, and this is it's cheesy, and it's probably written in the 80s at this point, maybe early 90s. But I'm a sucker. Well, I used to be a sucker for a romance novel, but not those like heaving bosom, throbbing members bullshit. Like what
throbbing members is such a funny term.
What I would consider like historical romance. Like if the character is in this decade, and this is their job, you're gonna know all about it by the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But anyway, so this lady in the character in the book is a romance author. She goes to her psychiatrist, and they go to like a past life regressionist, and she goes back. And then in that life, she goes back again. And this happens a couple times until she's at like the birth of her soul and like her soul journey with her soulmate now. Yeah. And then it goes back forward in the lives and stuff and like how they like come to each other and stuff. And I'm just like, that is so cool to think about. I believe too that your tribe is always your tribe in some manner, like even like could be your dog in this lifetime and was your dad in another lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy I feel like repeats itself like within
presents itself in a new way.
Like I don't think I'm gonna wake up like I'm gonna die today and I'm gonna wake up like in India. And, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It just feels like.
Do you think reincarnation could be basically any living thing? Which I think
100%.
I don't think the universe differentiates between life. Just life.
And time is like really a man-made construct. Of course, things go on, but like the segmentation of time, like we make that. So you could end up as like sea slime for infinity and not even realize it's infinity, and then all you know what I'm saying?
Plus, it's tied to this particular planet's gravity.
Yeah.
So once you think beyond our scope of existence, it's meaningless.
And that's where my brain has to go, just stop. Because I could just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can
Now
go.
I'm enabling you. We're both going to get so lost in the weeds.
I just believe in the possibility of anything.
Yeah.
I don't believe in everything, but I believe in the possibility, and I would love to be proved wrong about everything.
Yeah.
I'm currently mad about magic because somebody showed me that it's not real. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you, I truly thought some of it had to be real. How could these things happen?
Yeah.
And then I have a friend who's learning magic, and he told me so many tricks behind the scene wise, and I'm
What a
like,
jerk.
now I can't. It's my fault. I asked.
All right, that is your fault.
He shouldn't have.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have told me though. Like,
I think it gets mislabeled because it's. I like when somebody calls themselves an illusionist.
agree.
As opposed to a magician.
But how do you think mentalists do it?
Hmm.
Those are crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think there's different things to that, and I think hypnosis is incredible, and a lot of people are very susceptible to it because
feel
some people
like
are looking for something, so it's easy to kind of just kind of let it happen to you.
I feel like I'd be interested to see if I could be hypnotized.
Really?
I couldn't if I didn't want to
Well,
be.
you have to kind of go along with
Exactly.
the journey.
But if I was like, if I gave in, I'd be interested to see if I could chill enough to actually let that happen. I can't.
It
imagine.
definitely requires relaxing and being trustful of the environment you're in.
Right.
I feel like a jag off because I repeat myself so many times on the show, but I used to, when I did trauma recovery, we used hypnosis to get into the subconscious to be able to help people get over these traumatic episodes and kind of rewrite the brain synapses as we were in there and then bring them out so that it's you're tying trauma, taking that memory away and building a new idea and kind of trying to fire the brain to
neural
that
pathway.
Exactly. Yeah, rewriting them in the brain.
Yeah.
So I've seen it firsthand. Like the lady that I trained under used that program to cure her fibromyalgia, which is pretty impressive. And if it's one of those things I feel like a dick because if I hadn't seen it, I'd be like, that sounds like bullshit.
How is that even? How?
It's that conversation leads to another point of one of the books I read during the training is The Biology of Belief, and in there, Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about how upwards of 95% of sickness, disease, ailments
Comes from ourselves.
comes from us mentally, and then manifests in our body a specific way.
I believe that.
Yeah, and it's like I've seen it firsthand, so it's like I think it's something that we're still in the infancy of exploring, but it's gonna open so many doors and be insane if we can embrace that as a culture in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fascinating book. It's so cool.
What's it called?
The Biology of Belief.
The Biology of Belief. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty cool.
I'm not good at reading, so I bought the book and failed at reading it.
I
bought
used
the
to be.
audiobook. I have him read it to me. It's nice.
I've never listened to an audiobook. I'm like
Never?
I'm kind of against audiobooks and Kindles.
Really?
Yeah, I'm taking a stand for no other reason besides like I just don't want libraries to go away. There's just something magical about like real books.
I agree with that. For me personally, I have a hard time doing the reading part.
I have zero judgment to anybody else. Just for me personally, because I can.
Yeah.
Because of who I am, I'm gonna just stick to reading. But the amount of worlds that have been opened because of things like audiobooks and Kindles and stuff, I can't shit on that.
Right. Well, so yeah,
you know
some
what I mean?
people are
So
blind,
yeah,
right?
just for me personally, I'm gonna be like too good
But
for it.
I agree that I don't want libraries to go. I love technology and advancement, but I don't want to lose
libraries.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything like that. Like I read comics and collect comics still. It's the same thing. I go to the comic book shop. I want them to stay
Correct.
in business. Like
And it's a
keep them
community
physically.
of people, and it's a place that you can like know what to expect from. And I don't know, libraries just feel good.
Yeah, well, libraries even have an interesting smell. I feel like that's comforting when you walk into.
Agreed. Yeah. I love a library.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe we can get back on track.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
Who even knows? At some point in your life.
This is literally how it goes. Anytime I talk to anybody.
I prefer that. Like it's real.
It's organic.
It is organic, yeah.
Yeah.
But we were in high school.
Yeah, how was high school? Party city.
Yeah. No adults in your life.
Yeah, I
Everybody
was
kind
the
of.
adult.
You were the party house.
Yeah. Oh my God. We had the circle in the garage, and like the further away from the two main chairs, my brother and I had like these like handmade wood Adirondack chairs, and the circle would, ebb and flow sometimes, but the further away from those chairs, the shittier the seat got until you were just like sitting on the floor or something. But
Right.
like it was the amount of smoke that would roll out of that garage. And you didn't go to Thompson, but Mrs. Bean, a Thompson teacher, was my next door neighbor.
Wow.
And I think she felt so bad for us because she could clearly tell what was going on there, that she just kind of didn't. Like, do you know who Kevin Bean was?
The name
I wonder
sounds
what the
familiar.
hell Kevin Bean's up to. Super blonde, skinny-ish guy. Would have been my age, like my class. Anyway, the amount of times that parties, people would park blocks away and it'd be just like packed. And we never got in trouble. Every once in a while, the cops would drive by slowly, and we just would like.
It sounded like most people knew what was happening, and they were like, "What are we supposed to do?"
And honestly, like I said, I'm like respectful.
Yeah.
Like when we were partying, no, we are not all in the backyard being loud as shit. Like you are inside, we are in the basement or in the garage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Did you kind of take that? It sounds like you kind of fell into that mom role.
Yeah.
Immediately.
100%. It's just naturally who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it naturally who you are, or did you have to become that?
No, I am naturally a leader, take charge, nurturing personality. Even though I come off like rough and stuff, I'm super nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just who I literally thought my lot in life was going to be a mother and a wife.
Yeah.
Like I thought, and I've been neither.
So far, yeah.
I'm not going to be a mother.
The ship may have sailed on that one.
Yeah, a wife. Yeah, I would totally. I mean, the party. I don't need the documentation, but the party would be fun.
Yeah.
You have to date though to do that.
What a kick in the balls that all is.
Dating.
Oh my God.
Arkansas is number 48 out of 50 states for dating. So there's only two. Yeah, there's only two worse than us. I live in a demographic that's considered like senior community.
Yeah.
But the largest amount of married people is within my age group, and there's like 1 3/4 women for each man. It's like.
So it's
not to mention a mindset that literally has nothing to do with the way I think. But.
That's got to be actually tough.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Do you think you'd ever leave Arkansas?
It's complicated because I have a wonderful life there, and my nephews are there, and my sister's there, and my mom's there.
Is your whole family down there?
No. My older sister lives up here.
You're not the oldest.
No.
Is that the elusive fourth one? How old is your older sister?
She's 13 months older than me. She was born November 29th, 1979.
Okay, so she's just barely older.
Yeah.
Did she? Because I don't remember her in school either. I mean, I don't.
She's a see you next Tuesday. Has always been a see you next Tuesday. I don't even dislike that word, but just I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
She was 100% into Palms. I gotta be popular. Palms like the dance team and shit. I gotta be popular. I have to. And it's funny because all her friends like me more than her because she was so uptight and I was like so fun. And the one friend that she took from me, she is still friends with to this day.
Really?
And that's Angie Stubinger.
Oh.
Do you know who Angie Stubinger is?
I don't. I'm excited to call out all these people, though.
I told myself I wasn't supposed to talk about
Wait, before
people.
every episode, except this one, I'm always like, don't say anybody's full name. So
I'm probably the number one person you should say that to.
Yeah,
that's not her name anymore, though.
Yeah,
if that makes a difference, like she's married, and I have no idea what that.
Well,
married
also,
name
we're
is.
not talking shit about anybody.
No, it's just the reality. Nicole, my older sister, and Angie are like best friends to this day, which is so funny.
Yeah, I'm curious then too if your older sister, you guys are that close in age, and somehow, like you said, it's natural for you to become the mother. Then she wasn't into all the partying you guys were doing.
Correct. She wasn't into
But she was
anything but
around.
herself.
Yeah. Or out busy doing other stuff, maybe.
Just doing the river walk, you know.
Yes.
What's the pool hall above Walgreens by the river walk?
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Did you spend time at the river walk?
No.
Oh, I spent an extreme amount of time at the river walk.
There was
that was what was
Senor
up.
Frogs, I think, was the only pool hall. There was a break time billiards. And
Break time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she just did what like popular people did, and she was she 2 years ahead of me because of the way our birthdays fell?
It sounds like you got held back at some point.
No, I decided like a month or so before graduation to drop out of high school.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm 18 now, so I'm gonna do. Life was very traumatic. It was very, very hard.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of fun, but it was also very traumatic.
Right.
And you get that sense of like freedom. Like, I'm 18, I can do what I want. And all my teachers begged me. As I remember walking around school with a piece of paper, and you have to get each teacher to sign. And they begged me not to do it. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, there's literally nothing.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I was like, if I said something, I had to hang myself on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no change in your mind.
Right.
You're not allowed to think something if you don't think that way forever. You know what I'm saying?
How
You
absurd,
committed.
But that's what teenagers are like.
100%. And so then I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. And so then I just went back and graduated next year.
That's crazy.
I graduated with like extra credits because I always had like good grades. I always I always was doing extracurriculars because I was always like in choir and shit. So I had all sorts of credits.
Did you have to go to another year then?
Yeah, I decided to because
maybe that's why I thought you were only a year ahead of me.
So many of my friends I knew from them being juniors, so then I spent their senior year with them.
Yeah.
So then I became like part of this. I'm like in this weird like limbo of older, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Because I would have put you in then Jay's class, even though you're.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
That makes now it's all coming together.
Yeah. God, I didn't remember any of this stuff.
I'm glad it's coming up.
Until I'm like talking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sometimes you probably haven't thought about it in 20 years.
I have a pretty good memory though. Like my mom will ask me random stuff about like, do you remember this place when you were a kid? And I can like pretty much spot on.
Yeah. Now, one of the things you just alluded to is when you're kind of older in high school, by the time you're 18, is partying a lot, but having a traumatic mindset.
Yeah.
Now, how does that relate to when you're younger? 'Cause I gotta think that like you probably didn't recognize that when you were younger, but you were still partying. Do you remember like what draws you to partying in the first place? Just the idea of freedom and we can do what we want?
Being social.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I am naturally a hermit.
Yeah.
And so partying, being on like drugs and alcohol 100% made it like fun to be around. Like a lot of my brother and his friends, they called me the Beast because I like lived in the basement. Yeah. And like a lot of times I would come stomping up those stairs and be like, shut the fuck up. Because as much as I was like the life of the party in the middle of everything, I also want to be left completely 100% alone. And so partying was a good way to like have a great time and then disappear from everybody without any like real.
Do you think the drugs and alcohol kind of lower those walls too, so you can be social? Right?
Oh, 100%.
Like
Yeah, absolutely.
Like for anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
But then as you kind of were getting older through high school, did you start recognizing the idea that, oh, there's some trauma behind this? Or is it just that all this trauma happened during high school?
I mean, I knew my life was a shit show, but I wasn't thinking about it in like an active manner while I was still in high school. I probably didn't really. I don't know. When the hell did I realize my life was a shit show? I mean, when does trauma start? You know what I mean?
In the womb.
Yeah, I mean, because I can tell you some pretty fucked up stuff that happened when I was a kid still, when my parents were still together.
Yeah.
Some real fucked up stuff. So, and my dad was a drinker.
Yeah.
And my mom was an ignorer.
Yeah.
So, but my dad was also a fucking blast.
Which is also an enabler.
Yeah, 100%. So, it was just easy to slide into that.
I'd be worried / case because with there being so many of you, and like you and your older sister are very close in age and stuff like that. did everybody have to deal with the traumatic stuff, or do you feel like it was kind of pivoted on you? I mean, obviously everybody has their own trauma.
I bared the weight of it, but I'm sure all of them have their own reasons for why our childhood, teen years were traumatic. All that being said, they were fucking phenomenal. The amount of fun that we had, the amount of people that would come to my house and trust me, and the amount of life moments that I've experienced with people and love, I wouldn't change all that bullshit for anything. The freedom that we had, it was like Lord of the Flies, for God's sake. We experienced and connected on levels that most people didn't, because there's always the eyes of their parents around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't know. It was awesome. It fucking sucks sometimes. Mostly from a financial level. I didn't understand the emotional damage that was happening until
much later in life.
30s.
That's what I'm thinking. You probably look back and, like you just said, it was a blast. You can kind of see, oh, this is a traumatic thing that's happening.
Yeah.
But at that point, you at least have a different mindset. Like, I'm taking the positive out. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Such a unique connection.
Yeah.
But definitely fucked up.
Absolutely fucked up. A lot of fucked up stuff happened. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So after we get through high school, did you go to college?
No. I went to Waubonsie for like 5 seconds. Well, no, that was another almost did it. I was like 2 credits shy of my associates, and then Julie Baker was up at UW Whitewater, and I was going up there all the time, and then she graduated college, and she's like, move to Wisconsin with me. Like, your mom fucking sucks, and you shouldn't have to be in charge of everybody. You're 22, and I'm like, okay. And so we were like, Madison, Milwaukee, and Milwaukee it was. And so that's where I spent the majority of my 20s.
Were you guys like downtown Milwaukee?
We were on the 15 bus line, which was like 2 turns and straight to the center of downtown.
Yeah.
So
for nothing, I think Milwaukee is underrated. It's actually pretty awesome.
It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved Milwaukee. I was absolutely blessed. Had a great time there. Made a lot of great friends. It's not as big as
Chicago, but it's pretty lively, and there's a lot of cool stuff.
Big city, small town.
Exactly.
And that's my favorite kind of vibe for anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Do they say that there? Because I feel like that's their slogan.
No, they don't. The other slogan is Milwaukee's the land that fashion forgot. Also, though.
Well, yeah, there's still Wisconsin.
The amount of classic cut, faded black jeans and mullets, are aplenty.
You can't have everything.
No, you can't.
But like the rave is right there. There's always good shows coming through the rave.
Do you know that the rave is in the same neighborhood that Jeffrey Dahmer had the house and the murders?
I did not know that.
My first job was at a painting company right there, and it's like on the line just down from Marquette and right before the really bad neighborhood. And so I would always be like going back and forth, and then somebody told me that, so I like walked by his house, but they had demolished it by then.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, we just got, so that was your first job?
Not
okay,
in
just
life.
in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah. Did
My
you
first
work through
job,
high school?
Yeah, 2 jobs in high school usually. I've always been a worker.
Yeah.
First paying job, I started babysitting at 8. First tax paying job, corn detasseling.
Really?
Did you ever do corn detasseling? No. Oh man, that was like what was up in the summer.
Yeah.
I had to like walk over to Thompson at like 4:30 in the morning and like get on a bus and go detassel corn in fields with a bunch of teenagers, like organized by teenagers, and like one teacher who didn't give a fuck.
That's funny because I work for a bus company now, and they're about to go do that. And I have to watch the bus, part of a team that watches the buses when they come back.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, you dickheads are going to make them so gross.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, man, that's cool that you just kind of up and are like, I guess I'll go to
That's
Wisconsin
kind of
now.
the theme of my life. I'm very much like, and go. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That's how I left Milwaukee.
Ready, go, set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then how did you end up from Milwaukee? Did you come back here first?
To Oswego, and then lived a couple of years with the boys. We had fucking
Was that when the house?
The party house, Burkhart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was like
what a fun time that was,
bro.
Just
that fucking house.
So many shows there. When I think of the shows that like Short of All and the Knuckles played, it pales in comparison to when they just played for us.
Yeah.
Like at random houses.
Dude, Burkhart was the shit. Where we lived on Sherwick was kind of the beginning of all that. All of
Yeah.
us who were partying on Burkhart, minus like JT, because he kind of came in later, had like started this, like Nick Hogan and fucking Anderson and shit. And then it just turned into fucking, and then everybody was doing shows and concerts and you know what I'm saying? And that was,
Oh, yeah.
I miss that. Living where I live now, I miss fucking music. Like the way my life was easily accessible to new music and diversity of music.
I would say that's got to be a tough one. Like,
Yeah, thank God for Pandora.
yeah, if you can't, I still laugh. Like, I feel like you're the one person keeping Pandora in business.
Why would I give up like 25 years of curated fucking lists and radio station? Everybody, every time I hook my phone up to a speaker anywhere, people are always like, who picked the music? I'm like, me.
I hope that makes me happy to think that you're on the right track and we're all stupid.
Yep, I love that thought. Everybody's stupid and I'm right. I mean, that is like...
I thought you'd like that.
That is ideal. That's ideal for me.
So how did that... A lot of people that probably listen to this spent time at that party house. And it was an amazing time every time with some amazing people.
Yeah.
How did that end?
Something with whoever owned it.
Yeah.
And like things were, and then I moved out, like Tawny and I moved out and we got like a condo over by where like Pat Linden had bought a condo and those like condos over where we sometimes had parties in the clubhouse
Sarah
over there.
and Mike, my sister and her husband lived there.
Okay.
In Pat's while he was
not living there. So, so I think he just like naturally dispersed because I think something had to be fixed.
Yeah.
That house was like a shit show. We just fucking partied in it, which is why they let us do that. Because, you know. And so I think when they decided they had to fix it, they were just like, I don't know where my brother went. At that point, kind of just flittered off. I have no idea. I went over to the condos, and then I think I tucked tail a couple of years after that and came down here.
Tuck tail?
I always do that. Like, everything just falls to shit, and then I'm like, and let's move.
Is that the catalyst for going to
Arkansas? Absolutely.
Is everything's kind of falling apart here?
Yeah. And, like, Tawny always would, like, follow me. So, which is fine, you know. So she kind of followed me down, and then we, like, stayed with my
During
mom.
all that, was there still drinking and partying, like drug use and stuff like that? Or was there a time when you were like, I'm good on that?
I'm not even going to lie. Up until, like... Well, I haven't been a partier for years now.
Sure.
I would say somewhere in my...
You can do drugs alone.
Mid-30s.
And drink.
I love drugs, and I always have, but I actually, sadly, I'm pretty sure I'm done with everything but weed. Like, anytime I get a hold of anything, I'm just, like, not into it anymore. Like, I don't really like shrooms or acid anymore, and I don't know, like... I don't know. I've done all the drugs, not the methamphetamines or fucking fentanyl, but...
Right. Well, you're still alive.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I don't want to fuck around anymore.
Yeah.
Fentanyl, it's no joke. And, like, I don't have a good enough time anymore to...
Yeah. Well, you don't know what's laced. Like, even, you know... Because I feel like you can lace cocaine pretty easily with stuff, too. Like, you don't know until it's too late.
Well, down where I live, everybody's a fucking meth head.
I would think.
And so you can't trust coke down there, like, because everything, you know, is probably methamphetamines. Like, I think somebody tricked me into doing meth one night.
Yeah. I was tricked into trying Molly once.
I fucking love Molly. Nobody had to trick me into that shit. Fucking love it. Molly, sass. Have you ever done sass?
I don't even know what that is.
Fucking. So, one of the best things that happened is when I moved down to... Arkansas, one of the first big groups of people that I became friends with is what we would refer to as the hippie group. And that was a travel around the country festival vibe. So there wasn't anything I couldn't get. There wasn't, I mean, we were, you know, now we're in the middle of forest with giant bonfires tripping our minds out. Somebody doing a light show for you. Like, that was my life for, like, the first couple years.
Were you ever a rave kid?
Yeah, I definitely went to a couple raves. Yeah. I'm going to do everything once or twice kind of person. So I definitely went to 2 raves, 1 in a skate park, 1 in the house. That was enough for me. That was fun.
Yeah.
I remember some of the rave kids, and they were always like extra sketch.
Yeah.
All the candy kids.
They carry pacifiers.
Yeah, they were always on too many drugs. Like, I'm like a do drugs on the weekend after your responsibilities are taken care of kind of person. Really kind of always have been.
Right.
And they're kind of like do drugs all the time and like maybe do normal life. And so I can't do that vibe.
Yeah.
No judgment, but.
Yeah, have you left, do you still drink alcohol or is that?
I still drink, but I'm a pussy now. It's actually pathetic.
Is that like, not for nothing, isn't it kind of nice though to be like, oh, I can have a drink or two.
Absolutely.
And feel pretty good.
Well, I mean, I can have more than a drink or two. Like, if I'm on the river, I'll usually bring like 9 seltzers.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's different though. Like, you're on a long day.
Exactly. And then, you lose some of it and stuff like that. But like, if I'm with friends and I just hang on a back porch, we do a lot of porch sitting with my best friend. You know how they have like canned cocktails at this point? I usually get those where they're like 9 to 12%. Yeah. If I even get to all 4 of them, I'm probably wasted. I'm usually like 1.5.
Yeah.
And that's like, and then I'm like, let's go to sleep.
So shit falls apart and you kind of head down to
Arkansas.
Was there was no, like, did you start that? Because now most of your family's down there. But were you the first one who's like, I'm heading there?
My dad had moved to Arkansas years ago because when I was a sophomore in high school, I actually went to Arkansas for a year and went to school.
So you had an idea of where you could go.
Yeah. And so then my mom, when she finally wanted to get her shit together, had moved down to Arkansas because it was very far away from anything gambling. So she was rebuilding her life down there. And so Tawny and I were just like, let's rebuild our life too. So that's what we did.
That makes sense. So are you not in contact with your older sister then?
The older one?
Yeah.
I could be if I wanted to, but like, I do not want to.
She's somewhere or whatever.
She lives around here. She would talk to me in a second, but I do not like her.
Was there a particular falling out or just you don't...
Multiple
just different
times
people?
of being very attacking and emotionally abusive and fucking hypocritical and publicly. Like, she used to like attack me on Facebook and like stuff.
Oh.
And just enough times of like forgiving and then it happening again. Yeah. And so now I think the only reason she wants me in her life is because she feels guilty because I'm her sister and she thinks it should be.
Yeah.
I don't
a lot of people get hung up on family like it's meaningful.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. What's meaningful is if I choose you, I shouldn't be forced to have you.
Yeah.
God damn, you're cute. Oh my God.
She's so talking to the dog.
Cute. Oh, sorry, I'm talking to the dog.
There's an adorable Gigi's here.
Gigi!
Yeah, she didn't just all of a sudden look at me.
I mean, you're cute. Come on. Stop. I like the way your hair goes out from underneath your hat.
I've been trying to cultivate that.
I actually like that.
It'll be nice when people hear this. What the fuck are they talking about? But those are my wings.
Yeah, I like that.
I've never had my hair this long. And
I'm a fan of like medium, longish hair on guys. Well, and in your 40s, if you can do that shit, do it because lots of guys can't.
The top is definitely thinning out.
You still got it though?
Yeah, it's still here.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
Yeah, but I don't
know if you'll ever go completely bald.
I can definitely see that it's like less. I'm like, fuck it.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes.
I'm taking advantage while I can. I've enjoyed it.
Your shoulders might get less fuzzy.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, there you can wear sleeveless shirts with confidence now.
Yeah, or I'll shave my shoulders and make it a little toupee, maybe.
That's weird and disgusting, though.
Okay, maybe not that then.
Just think about how like the texture of that hair. I'm way too like visual. I'm like I'm in there.
Well, you're thinking about it realistically.
There's this girl I watch on TikTok, and she is like a toupee fucking queen, and it is amazing to watch the transformation in these men when they get this, because she like maps it to their head or whatever, and then she puts it on, and then she does a haircut and blends it in with their natural hair like below, and they look like totally different people. And there's a guy in Chicago area that people are paying like $150, $200. I watch him, and he is so good. He gives dudes haircuts, and every dude, he can cut your hair with the way your face goes. Like it's not just like, oh, you're asking for a fade and he's good for a fade. He
Right.
is giving you the optimal look, and every dude looks hella attractive when he's done because he does such a good job. I love that shit. Like a well put together,
Yeah.
like change makeover. You know what
Well,
I'm
it's
saying?
crazy how like the smallest little thing, if it's correct for your body type and facial type,
How
changes so much.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's pretty awesome. I think if I ever went completely like bald enough, I met a guy when I was getting tattooed once who had a buzz cut, hair follicles tattooed on his head, so it just looked like he had a shaved head, but he was bald.
That's crazy.
And I'm like,
then,
that's brilliant.
yeah, I wonder if that hurt because that's a lot of little
I'm sure
spots.
it hurt like a bitch, but
Yeah.
totally worth it at the end of it. So how long have you been in Arkansas now?
I think 15 years. So is that the place I've lived the longest?
Are you asking me?
I'm
It
saying, I'm
sounds
just
like
kind
it.
of like saying out loud, like Lyons, I lived till I was like 2-ish.
Yeah.
Brookfield, I lived till 11, so that's 9 years. Oswego, I lived till like 11 to 22, that's 11 years. So yeah, Arkansas is the longest.
Does it feel like home then at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it down there.
Yeah.
The only thing I would change is the idiots and just more opportunity.
And not for nothing, I feel like that's most places you're gonna go.
Yeah, I guess
Like I
that's
wish
just-
these idiots weren't here.
It's more like I guess I wish there was more diversity in culture.
Yeah.
It's very whitewashed, one
We
mindset,
do have
ignorance.
that a lot more here. Like being so close to Chicago, it's like it's
My
huge.
sister and I, when we first moved here, there used to joke if we would see a black person, we would call him a Canadian because it was like so foreign
Yeah.
that there was a black person in Mountain Home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now there's a few.
Good. I'm glad.
Plenty
that-
of Mexicans and Asians. Because those people in Mountain Home are obsessed with Mexican food.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
I've
It's a bunch
always,
of senior citizens.
I always laugh at the idea of how much anybody would love Mexican food, but not want those people around them. It's the hypocrisy is so funny.
That's the thing that drives me the most nuts living there is the absolute hypocrisy.
Yeah.
These people are so church driven and so Christian and proud of it, and they are
Oh, well, their warped version of Christian.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even want to get on the religion thing because I'll go down a tangent. But hypocrisy, that's my biggest thing. If you're a piece of shit, fucking own it. I can deal with face value. If I know that you're a piece of shit and like I can't trust you, that you're not gonna
Yeah.
like piss on me if I'm on fire, that's cool. But don't pretend that you're a good human and then like turn around and just shit on people.
Well, there's that old idea that the villain doesn't know he's the villain, right?
I guess.
But it's like you'd think common sense would be like, how do you not see that you're not making sense?
I did get an understanding of it because like when you see somebody who has only been around one kind of person their entire life,
Yeah.
they don't know that there is other stuff.
Right.
But in this day and age with the internet and stuff like that, there's kind of no excuse anymore. 15 years ago, yeah, there was still internet and stuff, but it was like funny when the kids around town were acting like urban with their flat brim caps and trying to rap and stuff because it was so far removed from where we live or whatever, you know what I mean? But now everything is accessible everywhere, so there's no excuse for ignorance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree, and I feel like enough of it can be chalked up to common sense that you shouldn't misspeak that often.
I just think it's easier for people to not learn and grow. Learning and growth is usually difficult and mildly painful.
Well, you said Arkansas is 48 in dating. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
somewhere in there for education also.
Bro. I remember when I went there for my sophomore year of high school, I was doing everything that year that I had done in Oswego in 7th grade.
Wait, you went to school?
Yeah, I went to Flippin High School for my sophomore year of high school from 96, 97.
Oh, okay. So
My parents got divorced. My mom sent me down to Arkansas for double L boot camp so my dad could get me in line,
Yeah.
or get me drunk and beat the shit out of me kind of thing.
Which is a certain line.
Yeah, I mean, I have respect, whatever, for that kind of stuff. But he bought, like...
You have respect for what?
His his methods because of what I know about him, and it's one of those. How do I know something? I don't know something different.
Right.
I don't know how to be angry and emote. You know what I'm saying? Not me, him.
Yeah.
That was you know what I'm
because of
saying?
where he came from, right?
Yeah, he had some fucked up stuff happen.
Yeah.
So.
But I feel like it's such a. I mean, it's amazing to be able to come to that place where you can understand somebody to that degree, to know that what they did was wrong, horrible, and traumatic, but also be like, I still understand. I just wish it would have been any other way.
That's what I try to do in life, and a lot of people feel like sound like I'm making excuses for people, and I always say it's a reason. It's not an excuse. I might understand where you're coming from. That doesn't mean it's okay to abuse somebody or mistreat somebody.
Right.
But I do see where it comes from. The reason for that is because then that takes it off of me.
Right.
I'm not being punished. They're letting something out that literally actually has nothing to do with me, and they're just taking it out on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, you're basically a conduit at that point.
Exactly, and I had to get to that point because my whole relationship with my father was traumatic, and then he died, and there's no changing anything after that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Did
saying?
you
So
get any kind of reconciliation, or was he just died?
I hadn't talked to him for a couple years. He lived up there. He lived down there. He was just getting worse and worse with alcoholism and whatever, and he just fucked everybody out of his life basically, and he was dead for like over a day before anybody even knew he was dead.
Yeah.
Because somebody did like a welfare check on him. He was just like, so there was no. I had mourned the loss of a father long before he actually died. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then with because you said your mom's down there now too. Do you have a relationship with your mom? Were you guys able to reconcile?
My mom and I have the best relationship right now that we've ever had.
It sounds like it. Did you have those conversations, or were you just on your end? Were you able to get over and just let it go?
Years of us living down there and going back and forth and fighting and having phases and taking time apart and just, I don't know, the way you grow and change with people that are going to forever be in your life. You know what I'm saying? Just so many different phases. And the phase we're in right now is best relationship we've ever had. I heard something the other day that said, your mother makes you feel the way she made you feel when you were a child. And that changed something for me because I was getting mad with myself because when I would go see her, I was so fucking annoyed by her. Like, just shut the fuck up for no real reason. And that's not nice.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, oh, that's because that's 100% how she was to me. But we're not those people anymore, so I don't have to be like that. Yeah. And then so I changed my mindset, and now that's allowed me to like not be so annoyed by her. And I mean, she's my mother, of course. I'll forever be annoyed, but
I gotta think your sister can push the same buttons if she wanted to.
Tawny, yes, Tawny and I can definitely. We don't do much fighting anymore, for sure.
Yeah.
We're pretty good at communicating and stuff. And actually my mom has gotten really good at communicating stuff. For a minute there, she was down there and she was drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. And she was saying like some real, like borderline racist stuff. Like she was like saying things against homosexuality, which she's never been.
Yeah.
And I had to I told her I was going to cut her off and not talk to her anymore if she didn't fucking turn the other direction, because I just wasn't going to associate with somebody who was being so fucking ignorant and judgmental. Like, I just don't understand why all of a sudden she was like, well, I feel really bad for gay people. Why? You never did before, bro. Too much MSN comment section? Yeah, get off of that shit.
Yeah.
And Fox News.
MSN, Pandora. You guys like have a whole different world. It's so funny.
For some reason, she got into MSN fucking comment section, and apparently it's a whole bunch of like 70 plus.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bunch of people who fucking just talk just stupid, straight ignorance.
Yeah.
And I work in the medical field, and I can tell you people do get more conservative and meaner and...
Well, you grow into it. Because as you get older and you need more help, you start being like, who's going to take care of me?
And because people are shitty and have been shit on And so, like, you get more and more. It's like you have to make a conscious effort to not get jaded as life goes on. You know what I'm saying? So, like, by the time you're old, you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm so tired of giving a shit. Yeah. And so all these old people walk around like that.
What do you do down there? So
I work for a pain management clinic.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like a patient care coordinator kind of thing. I do a lot of like education for certain procedures they're going to get done. I do a lot of, one of my favorite things is the amount of old people smoking weed and doing their gummies now. Yeah. And so I convince a lot of them to do that because most of them have been on opioids since the 70s, you know what I'm saying? And before the government regulated them. And a lot of them are getting a lot of relief from THC now that we're in medical state. And so it's very cute and interesting to watch these people like go to the dispensary and like stand at the counter. And like we even have a nurse at our dispensary so they can talk to like the old people so they're not so freaked out about it or whatever. It's adorable.
It sounds adorable.
Yeah. That's and I do like a lot of scheduling and I do a lot of shit, kind of like whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
Whatever's needed.
Yeah, I go to other clinics sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool job though. Like I feel like between that, like the obvious issues are down there, but I feel like one of the biggest pluses is scenery.
Oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
And to be able to disappear into oblivion. Like, there's nowhere I can hike around here up in Wisconsin where I don't eventually go into somebody. Yeah. There's a place I go, I've nicknamed Kill Hill, because if I don't get back to the top of it.
I think that's foreshadowing.
I will die in the forest because it's so steep and there's no signal down there. Yeah. And it's very difficult to get back up. But if I don't, that's the end. So you have to get back up.
What part of Arkansas? Because my grandparents lived in Missouri.
I love that you said Missouri.
Of the very bottom, like in Lansing, just after Branson. So we would drive into Arkansas. Yeah, I also
pretty much where I live then.
Really? Like just on the top there?
Yeah, because Branson is one of the places we go. Branson's about an hour and a half from me.
Oh, yeah,
So the Arkansas border, if I just go up 5 from Mountain Home, I can be at the Missouri border in like 15 minutes max. That's only if I get stuck behind somebody.
Yeah, that's probably uncomfortably close then because Lansing is down there.
Yeah, I know. Lansing, I think, is more one direction than the other.
Yeah, it's a little farther this way if you're looking at a map.
West?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I'm really bad at geography. Like, so notoriously. I'm very smart, and I don't care. But, like, I forget things like Kentucky is a state. It just feels like a city that people raise horses. The city of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I know now it's not. I know.
Sure.
But it just feels like it. Idaho's the city where they grow potatoes.
Yeah, I feel like you could say that nobody would even correct you.
Yeah. Although Idaho, I've heard, is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to go there.
That's true. Yeah, I would imagine because I feel like there's not a lot of people there.
There's definitely a lot of wide open space, but yeah.
Same with like Wyoming over there.
Yeah,
Utah. Jay's wife grew up in Utah.
Big Sky Country. Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's beautiful there.
Absolutely.
She didn't have a great experience because whatever, but I did an episode with her. You can give a listen, but it looks beautiful at least.
Yeah, but the mindset there is
it's
on another level.
That's what she didn't do well with.
I live in the Bible Belt,
right?
But up there, it's a totally different world. I feel like it's more cult-like in that area.
Can be, definitely.
Yeah,
it's frustrating too because like it's it's stereotypically all Mormon, but I know Mormons here. One of my best friends is Mormon. And they're such good people. Like it's 100%.
I think it's that area. I think that mindset goes to that area and creates that facet of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've known plenty of Mormons who have no sort of vibe like those Utah people.
Yeah.
Something about those Utah people. I don't know.
Not for nothing. Like you kind of alluded to before, is narrowing your scope so that all you see is what you like,
and that's exactly what people do, don't they? They surround themselves with their own mindset. That's why one of my biggest pet peeves is these days things are terrible. These days people never used to be like this. I'm like, bro, people have always been like this. The only difference now is that creep that lived on the outskirts of town now is on the internet with 40 other creeps across the world living on the outskirts of town, sharing pictures.
Right.
Like,
well, you have access to more information now is the only difference.
You will always find somebody to fucking agree with you because of the internet.
Yeah, I hate that in every capacity, that whole back in the day thing. I can't stand when somebody tells me that back in our day, kids respected others. No, back in your day, you mentally abused your children and physically abused them.
Or you don't respect marriage anymore. No, I don't respect having to be a piece of property.
Right.
It wasn't even until the 70s where a female could have a credit card without having it signed by her husband.
Right.
Like, fuck off. Like, that's why the marriage rate changed. And actually, the divorce rate is great because people aren't getting married for the wrong fucking reasons anymore because we can all be goddamn individuals.
I'm also, people get weirded out because I'm like, divorce to me is always good news. You're recognizing a broken situation and taking the steps to bet on yourself and get out of it.
I always tell people that was a good try. Like, did you do everything you could? Okay, cool. Good try.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything's forever. I used to love the thought of like, here's my soulmate, and I'm gonna find you, and we're gonna and forever. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to pull on that thread for a second, just on that tangent, just because I find it fascinating. Is because we as humans, we do look at things as in the scope of forever.
Yeah.
Like, this job's gonna last forever. This money's gonna come in forever. This relationship's gonna last forever. And I think it really hurts the experience of those things because things last as long as they're supposed to, or as long as they're going to.
Agreed.
However you want to look at it. But like, we presume, if I like this person, it's gotta be forever. Instead of just enjoying what it is.
And then there's a pressure on it.
Right, exactly. And that pressure builds and creates anxiety in two separate people.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to build something that, you can't, is doomed from the start.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way about that?
I feel like we're supposed to have relationships and you're supposed to do things a certain way. And most people want to be programmed that way because inherently humans have to reproduce just like anything on the planet, right?
Right.
But we're programmed from zero to have that pressure on us from zero. Like, you don't even know what's happening to you, and it's happening to you. You know what I'm saying?
Like, not for nothing. It's as simple as even like if you and I each had a baby here, but they were like, one was a boy and one was a girl, like, oh, maybe they'll get married someday.
Exactly.
Something as simple and dumb as that throwaway sentence is creating this expectation. It's creating this whole anxiety.
100%. My sister and I have a lot of these conversations because I have two nephews, and we try very hard to neutralize all those kind of mindsets about who you must be, how you must think, what you must look like, how you must feel, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like sometimes she'll do, and I have so much respect for her because of that actually, because she'll do something, and I have a unique perspective because I am forever single. I'm constantly watching people's lives as opposed to living it most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see her do or say something, and I'll be like, Tawny, I feel like you didn't mean this that way. But, perfect example. We were at the river one day, and Kai was going to get a life jacket, and he finally found one. It took him a while to find a life jacket because he's a bigger kid. He's husky.
Yeah.
And he goes, I found one. And she yells from way across the thing, I bet you it was an adult one. She meant absolutely nothing by that. He's a big kid.
Sure.
Even when he was 2, he looked 4.
Sure.
And he wasn't. But I was like, Tanya, if somebody would have said that to you.
Right.
And she's like, you're 100% right. Yeah. I didn't mean that. But she is so quick to go, yes, I see that. And because she doesn't want to be that. We don't want to feel like there's
sometimes
anything wrong.
Sometimes you don't know until it's come out and you're like, damn, I didn't mean that. I just heard it.
Yeah. She just meant because, like, this kid's also a powerhouse. Like, he wants to, he calls himself a sports kid. He wants, you know what I mean? He's starting football this year.
Yeah.
Like, and there's nothing wrong with being a bigger person. I mean, there's it takes all kinds in this world to make it go. I just focusing on it for no reason is what I try to avoid, or what we try to avoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which makes sense. Like, well, I mean, it's calling it out for no reason. Like, there's nothing coming out of that. There's no reason.
Exactly. And I don't think people realize that. It's the same as telling a story and being like, and so this black guy, why are you even telling me he's black? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And they're like, I just was saying, you didn't say this white guy.
Right.
So I don't think people realize that they do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too touches on that kind of systemic racism.
100%.
That's built in that you don't realize until somebody's like, bruh, like, why are you talking like
100%.
that?
My mom and I talk about systemic racism all the time. My mom and I have really good, deep conversations. She wants to expand her mind and like be a better person. She's so cute. She says things like, we're breaking generational curses. And like we are,
Yeah.
you know, but she really wants to be better, and we have a lot of anxiety, you know, in our family, and I do a lot of like work on myself and stuff like that, and she's wanting to learn these tools and wanting to, you know,
Yeah.
be a better version of stuff, and I think it's actually kind of adorable. Like,
It's amazing in general. One of the things I've always admired about you is using your platform, like on a Facebook, where it's going to get fought.
yeah.
And it can get ugly, and you're very mouthy on Facebook. Like we've established you can be in life.
Yeah, in life, yeah, in general.
Yeah, but I mean, does it help in any kind of therapeutic way for what you've been through and the mental issues that you might deal with that come up? For me, I like to post songs if I'm feeling a certain way. And it's the subtle bullshit stuff of like, I hope somebody asks me about it, but I don't really want them to.
Right.
But do you feel like when because you posted some very vulnerable things.
So I know people wonder about that, and to
Yeah.
be honest with you, it is actually easier to post something like that on Facebook and have people reach out to me than it is to reach out to one person.
Now, I 100% understand that because I feel that because sometimes like even if you try to reach out to somebody, they might not realize you're reaching out like until you take it to that dramatic of a level.
Right.
Some people just ignore it because they've got their own lives going on.
Exactly, 100%.
Like, I totally understand.
You don't want to be the burden.
Yeah, I hate to be the burden. So let me be dramatic for a second here, and somebody will hopefully see that, and I'll be able to be like, you know, because once somebody reaches out, I'm not going to play bullshit anymore. Be like,
Well,
all right,
when they
cool.
come to me, that means they're choosing to be part of the problem. I'm not putting it on them and then staying due to guilt.
Yeah.
I was raised by guilt, so
Right.
I always worry that I'm going to make somebody do something due to guilt, and that's actually I get like worked up by that about sometimes because people will be like, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, I swear to God, it's not, I know I sound abrupt because that's just how I speak, but I don't want you to feel sad or bad. Like, I'm not trying to guilt anybody into anything if things don't work out a certain way or whatever.
That's
like that.
gotta be rough the way that particular idea manifests in a relationship setting.
Romantically?
Yeah. Have you dealt with that before?
I have almost zero relationship experience. Like, I've had a couple relationships that almost reached 6 months, and that's about it. I've been single for, I would say, 98% of my life.
Yeah. I gotta think, though, that, like, well, because you need somebody that can, like, again, as dumb as it sounds, that sees you and can understand and hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that might change, right? Like, moment to moment. Not in a bipolar way, but, like, in a...
Oh, I am bipolar.
Yeah. I feel like most of us are, though. And I feel like they're not...
This whole neurodivergent on the spectrum thing...
Yeah.
It's like when you were allowed to be left-handed, there was a spike in left-handed. When you were allowed to be gay, there's a spike in gay.
Yeah.
I think it's normal to
create a
be
safe place
abnormal
for
now. What is the spectrum? What is neurodivergence? I mean, it's like the horoscope at this point. You can read a description of any mental disorder and find something true in about yourself. Like, as a society...
I think that's the point of it being a spectrum.
Correct,
is
exactly.
that it's fluid.
Exactly.
Is the whole
They've
point.
broadened it now, too. And so I love the thought that everybody is, like, feels comfortable in their faults.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel shame because I'm bipolar anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't choose this life. This is fucking stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But...
Do you take medication for it?
I didn't my entire life. I recently started taking Wellbutrin only because I wanted to quit smoking.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
It changed your leveled you out?
You know what I like about Wellbutrin? Well, first of all, I'm really low dose.
Yeah.
It just feels like I just get good sleep on a regular basis.
Right.
I still have emotions. I can have a bad day or good day, but like the emotional reaction is just, it's an impulse control med basically, which is why it helps you quit smoking as well.
Right.
So it just helps me slow down and make better decisions on logic and not emotion. So
that makes sense. Because I know some medication will make you feel like it's just turn your emotions
100%,
off.
and that's why I never wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, I wanted to fix this shit show for real and not put a Band-Aid on it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just been years on this journey of being just mentally ill and having a lot of trauma. And, you know, I'll tell you what, though. Fucking life is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me mad about being so dramatic and deep and dark. Is like, I probably love life more than the average person, and the amount of things that like I appreciate on a regular basis. Like, I will cry at a really pretty sunset because like what a fucking gift.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like
I feel the same. Do you feel like there's a million moments throughout your life, like just going day to day? You probably saw it today on your drive out here from Arkansas, like where you're like, I'm the only one seeing this shit.
100%, and just and the beauty as the landscape was changing. I'm like, how everything was like so green, and I'm like, wow, it's so lucky. I realize that on a regular basis, I get to see things and do things that some people will never ever get a taste of. Like my mind always goes to just like, really like slums of the world where you just see just like intense poverty, and I remind myself that every single problem I have, no matter my worst problem ever, is a first world problem.
Right.
And I'm fucking lucky, and I love the little life that I've created. I love my home and like being inside of it. It's so me. It feels good, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, Sasha, you're so sad in your temperature controlled thing with your beautiful decorations and your great dogs in your beautiful area. Not that I'm not allowed to be, but I'm like, let's get a little perspective here. Like, Sash, like,
it's tough.
This is pretty great for the most part, you
when
know?
you're having an episode, though, did you feel like, man, fuck me, this is...
100%.
Who cares? Like, I'm so angry that I'm even feeling this way.
Yes.
But, like...
That makes it worse, unfortunately.
Exactly, yeah. It kind of just piques the anxiety up
You're
another
mad
level.
that you're feeling like that, and then you're mad that you're mad, and then you're mad that you're mad about being mad, and
like
it's just fucking, it's just endless. And so, I don't know when it happened, but I just realized that, like, something, you know how things just click? You hear the same bullshit over and over, and
but
it
one
just
time
clicks.
it just makes sense.
Like when you know, and then it's a thing you know.
Yep.
And that was when I realized that I could choose the way I feel. As stupid as that sounds, I didn't know that the way I felt was a choice. I thought how I felt happened to me, and then I reacted accordingly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh no, I can absolutely choose the way I feel. So I can get like real heavy, and then like I've been delivering pizza for Papa John's for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Because I like cash.
I love
and I just,
pizza.
Yeah. And like I had to get I had to make money real quick. I had moved to Fayetteville and then back to Mountain Home. And I wanted money really quick, so I walked into, and I like Papa John's, so I was like, but there'd be days where I'd be in like hella intense depressions.
Yeah.
Where I'm like driving, I can barely have my eyes open, I'm sobbing, and I will fucking roll that all up and walk up to that front door and be like, hey! And then like go back to it. And that is like, feels like a superpower to me now, because I literally was a victim to my own bullshit and emotions, you know what I'm saying? Like not being able to control and causing so many own problems in my own life by being so fucking out of control, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree completely with everything. Do you feel more level-headed and clear? Like, don't get me wrong, it's ebbs and flows, right? Every day
is, absolutely, ebbs and flows.
You know, you have no idea day to day. You do the best you can, and you hopefully have the tools at your disposal when needed. But do you feel like it's getting better?
Yeah, I'm more lucid than I've ever been in my entire life. I barely party, so there's no recovery period of time.
Yeah.
All the thinking I do is on a healthy level, and very rarely do I get like deep and dark. And even now when I do, I'm pretty good about not doing certain things to like further it along. This is the best version of me. But last year was the best version of me, and 5 years ago was.
But that's how it's supposed
tomorrow,
to be. That's
exactly,
evolution.
and that's what I love about life, and that's what I love about my 40s so far. Like 30s were, every decade was great. I can tell you something phenomenal about every decade. Like as shit as I've been and struggle as I've had, like I've done a lot of fucking fun ass shit, you know.
Yeah.
There's a peace like from within in your 40s. There's just a who gives a shit, but not in like a negative way, like a gosh, I wasted all that time being so hard on myself, and I watch all these people around me being equally as hard on themselves, and we're actually all pretty fucking wonderful, and I truly don't expect perfection from anything, so why the hell am I expecting it for myself? What a waste of time. And so now that in my 30s, that was a little like self-deprecating and oh, you poor little baby.
Yeah.
And now it's like it feels like a freedom. It feels like a power and a knowledge as opposed to well, you fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that growth thing, I fucking love it. I just love it. I thrive on it, honestly.
I do think there's that gratitude of being able to recognize it, and then there's that absolute beauty of living through it and seeing it in every moment that passes.
And the amount of people I've changed and saved because all that stuff I put on Facebook, the amount of people who have reached out to me and are still alive because of me, have ended bad relationships or started great relationships. Like, I wasn't a wife and a mother because if I had put all that energy into my own little family, I couldn't spread. Not like I'm some fucking saint on this planet or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a total shit show sometimes, but I just have such a desire to foster the growth of people around me. And, like, you can always tell somebody that doesn't like me is usually somebody who very much likes to just be exactly like they are with no questioning of more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And liars do not like me.
I would think they wouldn't, because I feel like you like you said, you have a memory, so you remember things. That's why I never lie. I don't have the memory to keep track of shit, and I don't want to.
That's what's up. That's exactly right. Like, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember. So it's funny, like, somebody will be like, you already told me that. I'm like, well, at least I'm consistent.
Yeah,
you know, like,
I am repetitive. Like,
I do notice as I get older, I am a little repetitive, but everybody kind of is.
Small price to pay for honesty.
Well, also, like, sometimes you come up with like a good anecdote, and like you really want to share that with the world over and over again. And it's just funny every time. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna start tweaking my story so you dickheads let me repeat them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think is next now? I mean, you're in the best place you've been. It's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm excited for you. I don't know if I could mentally do it living in Arkansas, but I know it's beautiful down there. I'm glad you guys are down there. But what do you think is next?
The thing that Arkansas provided me, minus the people, is not only like a solitude, but like a connection back with my body. And I am in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life, which is paramount for my mental health. And so I'm literally just leaning into that. I was also diagnosed with diabetes last year, so I'm leaning into that. And I took that as like, that was after I got over it. That was, you know, I felt like it was a death sentence for like a month or so. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what I think it is? I think it's like the last push from the universe, so I really dial in like my diet and exercise and stuff, because you can reverse it. I can live a life, and I'm not on a bunch of meds. I am on meds, but not like a bunch. I'm not on insulin and stuff like that. And I'm leaning into that, the best possible version of me, and financially too, because I don't know about you, but I've never been great financially.
I've always had an aversion to money because I've had a poor attitude about it. Where I don't like the way the structure is and how important it is for everything.
Agreed.
And I've been working really hard this year to change my mentality. I've actually been reading this book about the problem isn't money, it's the way you think about money.
Yeah.
So, that's not the exact title, but something along those lines. And it's just, it's incredible when you start seeing your attitude towards it.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, well, no wonder it's not around you. You don't like it, and you keep pushing it away.
Absolutely.
So now it's like, okay, well, now I'm willing to have money. You know, how is money going to show up? And I'm open to the opportunity to get my share. Like,
absolutely.
For sure. So that's I'm 100% with you on that.
That goes to the whole "you will see what you look for" kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize that. That's something that changed my life too. It was like, if I choose to look for the good stuff, doesn't make the bad stuff non-existent. It just means I found the good stuff amongst it. So like when you open your life to going, okay, I'm open to money, now all of a sudden you're seeing opportunities that you were absolutely ignoring before because you had zero desire, and now, you know what I'm saying? And automatically that can make you more successful financially, just because now you're allowing people to bring it into your life. You know what I mean? That whole manifestation thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to go. Did you have anything else to talk about?
No.
I mean, we end up with you on a high note.
I am starving.
Oh, bro, this is my second one of these. I recorded earlier, and I've been here for.
And it got really hot in here, right? Or am I having a hot flash?
It's the same temperature, but it does feel warmer.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
All this hair in my head too, though, does that.
Yeah, I'm not used to having all the wings and everything either.
Gigi got some sleep.
Yeah, but I appreciate you finding the time and stopping in on your way out. I'm sure you got way funner things to do.
No, I had a good time.
Yeah,
this was good.
Thank you so much.
My friends are looking forward to listening to it. They're like, "Oh
already?
my god,
that's good."
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that."
Hopefully, it lives up to that and they like it.
Well, they think I'm wonderful and hilarious, so at the very least, they'll enjoy listening to me because they don't get that enough.
I think people will listen to like, oh, they're trauma bonding.
Yeah, 100%. That's who I am, though. I'm deep like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't talk to a lot of people, because I'd rather trauma bond than fucking talk to you about like your cousin's wedding.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what we'll leave it on. Trauma bond.
Trauma bond and mic drop.